What should allow for us to see some interesting plays, some fun highlights, as now the pressure is put on to Endgame. What can they do in this circumstance? How will they respond back, considering that this is Reciprocity's map pick? We're about to find out, Ryan, but so far it was all Reciprocity in game number 1. What does Endgame need to do here off the start in order to bring it back?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to get it started early. I think if you let this Reciprocity team get hot, get out to a good start, especially with that 1-0 map under their belt, the confidence is going to be overwhelming. So to me, it's getting the party started early, shaking off that map. And again, no one does a better job of shaking things off than these guys. They kind of, any deficit, never really exists in their minds. They're kind of the definition of ice in your veins. But they let Reciprocity get rolling early with how good this team is, right? With how coordinated they are. Wow. Things can get very out of hand quick. As I talk about a hot start, the hot start is absolutely in Reciprocity's favor as they're going for a trip cap. Can Praise get the touch in time? The answer is no. My key to victory was getting started early.
I mean, that's accurate.
It was Reciprocity, however, on their map pick 51 seconds later. I was going to say, too, we already know this is going to be at least a bit of a quicker map.
Sure.
So the quicker pace is at least something that could be in Endgame's favor, but Reciprocity picked this map for a reason. We know they're good on it.
Yeah, we absolutely do, and that's a scary side if you're an Endgame fan. The way this one has looked up to this point, like we said, Reciprocity, they have been absolutely unbelievable and so methodical as well. We talked about it. They can kind of, some teams can almost get lost in the midst of the round, and Reciprocity is always there, primed and ready to go. As soon as you make a mistake, they're ready to hop on board with it. But see, round number 2 treats us Endgame in dire need of a round, pretty much, as they've lost the last few in a row, considering how Icebound ended out and how Bunker has began. In-game keys to victory, things they have to look out for. One of my things would be, hey, take down the dastardly man of Rushy, so good up close and so dominant. Smoke is out, and he's happy just to put a little toe, the big toe rather, on the hill, as it actually does not go through officially. Does lose his good old buddy Franchise, but keep in mind who's on the flank, but who's on the flank of him? Flanks back and forth, flashes as well, as Rushies has to try and get out of dodge, but surely he's going to falter? Not the case. Rushman, known for it, backs up. Keep in mind, Icy actually on the decap already, as Endgame. They're starting to pull their hair out, I think, at that moment.
Yeah, it looks like Icy getting a kill at the same time. It's not only being a nuisance, but even getting some kills as Rushies finally is laid to rest at the hands of Explosive. So Endgame put a lot of resources over at B. They do manage to get that full cap, but the kills in the kill feed are starting to favor Reciprocity. That's going to now put us at a 5v2 situation. One of the members of Reciprocity off spawn. Praise is going to fall, so now the Swarm team going to have their home hill back. They're now going to have the neutral as well. They get to kind of set up. And we talk about how good they are at the slower game, how good they are when it comes to these setups. This is where they get to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely do, and they're happy to pile on the points right now. It's going to be all about how Endgame wants to try to break out of this setup. Let's see if they have the interest in trying to go for the up top, rather the down low based on the minimap bunker fight, or if they want to try to force the issue at B. You see pretty much the fights beginning to ensue. The trenches for Reciprocity. They're starting to feel the confidence, and they have every right to feel that way considering what's taken place. Kenny is dodging shots, but cannot dodge the last one. Mental wipes his head clean off. As Endgame, they're on the attack. Can they get the damage done? Applying forces to B, trying to collapse down on the neutral. Mental trying to gain some line sights. The smokes are out. The utility is doing its work. Franchise, like a captain should, trying to stay alive up close, but unfortunately, he'll be taken down as well. Peeling back the layers, Endgame, they retake B.
Yeah, big swing there is when Kenny doesn't get the kill on the ground. Had he taken out Explosive to that fight, might have gone a little differently. Unfortunately, Mental is there to get the kill and save his teammates. So now Endgame find themselves with the B hill. You see they still have the win condition, right? COG team will now win in 45 seconds, but that's going to require holding down that 2 cap for quite some time. We have now a Reciprocity with a fresh set of utility, fresh set of flashbangs. Let's see what they do with it. They're already getting the D cap. Looks like, what, 3 members of Reciprocity over only 2 members of Endgame, so they're kind of forced back. It's going to be a helpful break for the Swarm team. For that smoke there, neither team confident enough to kind of run right through. At the end of the map, though, it is going to be Mental getting the better of Kenny.
Powers!
Here comes a big sequence. Power's going to be down. Here comes Fran. Praise jumps down. He gets the kill onto Fran. It's going to force Rushies back. Advantage in Endgame's hands, but at this point, Landon, I don't know if the win condition will be in their favor with these two hills. Reciprocity need to hold their home hill for just a little while longer, and who else but Mental to make the play, get the break. Made a number of plays all night. He ends up getting finished, and someone from Reciprocity finds themselves on the A hill as well.
They decapped it.
The C cap comes in. And with that decap on A, I do believe Reciprocity will now hold on with just one hill. Praise has to basically do instant transmission to get over to C. Not going to be able to do it. Reciprocity once again make the smart play. Those smart plays win rounds, and now they're up 2-0.
Well, talk to me more about that smart play. Reciprocity in the most clutch situation possible where it's looking like Endgame, it is their round, their ticket to get back in this map and in this series. Reciprocity lock it up. How do they do it there?
Ran all the way around, which is, by the way, a very long bunker map. Ran all the way around in the midst of everyone worrying about B, everyone worrying about the wreck home hill. Hops right onto the Endgame home hill. Gets that break. That not only takes away the win condition of winning on two hills, that only takes away the scoreline there. It gives Reciprocity enough time to get the one kill they need, to get the full cap back on their hill just in time. And, of course, Praise was almost there, but just not enough time left for him to go for that break.
Crazy stuff from Wreck. Like we said, in the most narrow situations, they always manage to thread the needle and get the round done. Another one in the books for Reciprocity. We talked about if they can get to their third, that's usually when you start to press the panic button. And in-game, depending on the way that you look at it, that panic button maybe a little bit more treacherous than usual. Off the start of round number 3, in much need of a change-up is in-game. We know how talented this team can be, though. A roster that's been in situations like this previously and have turned up, living up to the title. A snap of the finger, an Endgame, they're instantly brought back to life. Let's see if it can happen in this sequence. You see Utility prepared for rushies. Franchise has got the Lancer out. Overall, in terms of score, Reciprocity, they are favored, and that's why Endgame, they force the attack first. Franchise from long range. The 30-year-old with an arm, the QB calling out plays as Franchise and Reciprocity continue to succeed, pushing forth as 4 players go down. Summons left in the ruins, trying to keep it up for the roster, but here comes the attack, trying to stay alive as he'll falter as well. Reciprocity, they're taking control, they're not looking back, taking down player after player, wave after wave. Powers lining them up on the back as Reciprocity take a controlling and commanding 3-0 lead here on Bunker.
This has been a dominant map number 2. It is oh so clear as to why this was their map pick in this series. Just seems like in every circumstance they have the upper hand. Every side of the map they have the upper hand. When it comes to rotations, they have the upper hand. Team fights, upper hand, every which way. They are just dominating through the first 3 rounds. Endgame needs to get back on the board to finish off this first half. Otherwise, we could be very, very quickly on our way to a decisive 2-0.
It's getting scary. It's time, right? It's the panic button time. Drop shot is out. And if that isn't indicative of how not just this map, but this series has gone, I don't know what it is, folks. Endgame, pretty much your lifeline. If you look at a 4-0 disadvantage, you go down 5-1 on Icebound for game number 1. I mean, it's going to be a rough hill to climb. Reciprocity arguably could do it here based on the perfection that Endgame needs to display, and they have not looked anything at all similar to perfect so far throughout this final. And you see what that drop shot means. Mental staring at it, looking at the aura of what that weapon can provide for them. That could be their ticket, their key to getting back into Bunker. Exchanging Lancer fire throughout the map. And you see Reciprocity, they're starting to force a few more toward this Bunker side. Utility is about to be out. Mental, targeted, 1 versus 3, actually finds the first, and his teammate will come in to help assist for the second. But Powers making some plays happen. Let's see how crafty he can be, trying to utilize the movement. Unfortunately, can't stay alive for much longer, but off the back of a solid play from Mental, in-game, they'll walk away with the advantage, and more importantly, they'll walk away with the drop shot.
Now they got that 2-cap, an opportunity to start to build that lead up. As you mentioned, the drop shot is going to be in Solar's hands. Now we'll see Reciprocity chooses to make their retake. Of course, we are in the quickest spawns, and because honestly these rounds have been so quick in general, both teams are pretty much at full respawn economy. So it's kind of the silver lining at times of losing some of those quick rounds. And
Solars.
here comes that rotation. Solar's is going to be key here. The way he uses that drop shot, the opportunity to get a number of kills as Reciprocity now make their way onto A. I kind of take a look at the minimap. Yeah, Solar's, here he comes. Starting to rotate that power weapon right over. The cap comes through. And the kill starting to favor Reciprocity. Praise versus Rushies over at B.
This is big.
And both players just kind of waiting. I don't think Praise knows that Reciprocity are rolling 3 deep over towards B. Praise dancing around as much as he can. He finally drops. Reciprocity will get B back. Of course, it will be at the expense of A, but if you're Reciprocity, you're okay with that. Still plenty of time. As you're going to see, the win condition will still favor the Swarm team if they're able to hold 2 down. And knowing that, they're going to try to make their way out as fast as they can, but here comes the team fire from Endgame. It's going to result in Kenny being taken out. It's kind of the long sight lines on bunkers sometimes. If you get hit down in the open, it can be devastating. Now let's see what Endgame chooses to do. It looks like Explosive is going to make his way over to C. So instead of fighting over for the neutral hill, he's going to make his way over for just a bit of an OE. One player is going to be off spawn, but it's going to be Kenny versus 2 members of Endgame. Now it's going to see the Reciprocity answers back. There's one Incend kill. Endgame does get the cap. But who is it going to be? It's going to be the sneaky captain of Reciprocity who has made his way over towards A.
That could be big if he wins the 1v1. Reciprocity, they also walk away with the team fight advantage. Not going to do it over at C. Big 1v1, he falters as well. It's going to be Fran. 2 versus 1 in favor of Rec, and they're not going to win that fight either. Endgame. I don't know if the drop shot at all was useful in that sequence. I know that what was Summons that had it. I know we didn't get to check out his perspective when the overextension was happening for Reciprocity, but I know he still had it in his inventory, and it didn't play a factor toward the end of the round, but still yet, Endgame, just the peace of mind to have that weapon, you know, obviously gives you an advantage. It also can kind of scare away the enemy, but how big was that round from Endgame? I mean, is that the tournament there if Reciprocity gets that round?
Yeah, I think you start off 4-0. I think that's just too big of a hill to climb, especially on the rec map pick. But I will say, despite not using the drop shot very much, or not needing to use it, I should say, I think that what helped there was the fact that it condensed the fight. It moved the fight over to that same spot. It forced the action. And again, we talk about how this Endgame team is good when it comes to kind of fighting over 1 point. They were so good in Gears 4 when a boom shot would be placed down, for example, like you know, whether there's pit on dam, all these different fights, right? They're very good at kind of closing in on certain areas. So to me, like I said, if they can continue to kind of force these up-in-your-face fights, that could be their win condition. So far, Powers gets an opening kill. It looked like Endgame in the beginning had some early numbers. But once again, Reciprocity comes out and reigns supreme, and now Summons has to make a big play. We are on long spawns. If he dies here, that will be a full wipe. And he kind of knows that he's kind of dancing around and he's trying to stay alive and at least buys his team enough time to get off spawn and kind of fight that second wave. So Endgame will be off spawn with a fresh set of utility. And the drop shot now will be in the hands of Rushy. So a bit of a roles reverse from last time.
Definitely. And Reciprocity, kind of with that peace of mind. You have that power weapon. It starts to make you feel good. We'll see if Endgame can deal with the pressure of it. As players being tagged from either end. Summons handing out some visuals. The binoculars are prepared. Enemy mark! We'll see how Endgame plan just to retake this. Is it a matter of going for the overextension, or do they want the fight at E? Based on the players they have in middle, if they can cycle them in, it could look good for them. Solar's the first piece. Praise the second. See that middle control. There's the flash. Presence is in, and Rushy's actually takes down his own teammate along with Solar's. A 1-for-1 trade. Is it worth it? We're about to find out as Praise falls as well. That is 4 down. And Mental, he'll be finished. And no one's going to spawn in time as Reciprocity, they hold valiantly. In game, they tried to make the retake. We had the excellent perspectives to watch how that was being formed. But no answer, no reply when in-game needed it. And for the remainder of this map, Reciprocity will be on map, series, and tournament point.
Long road ahead if Endgame wants to stay in this, not only just to win this map, to even stay in this series and the tournament. Reciprocity looking to finish this off with back-to-back 5-1s. Incense place on both sides, both teams using the Bolt Talk and a piece of utility. Honestly, on board with Powers. Powers just so good at kind of commanding this spot, commanding kind of this whole entire side of the map, to be honest. Let's see what he can do for his team. You're going to see him push around. He always seems to beat his opponent to the spot, no matter who it is. He's always the first player in there, and he's always getting active. Unfortunately, though, for him, his teammates are falling, but he's able to come behind Praise, hits the shot. Praise says, no, sir. I do believe Explosive actually killed him in the meantime. Oh, so it was a potential endgame kind of early initial. Actually, he's going to favor Reciprocity as they pick up the drop shot. And Icy gets one. Mental's going to fall as well.
Oh, they picked up teammates.
Here comes Summons to the inside, gets one, and trades back and forth.
What?
Drop shots placed everywhere, and hold the phone.
How did that even? I don't even know what just occurred. Summons. I don't know how he dodged the drop shot. I don't know how the drop shot didn't kill him, let alone do hardly any damage. However, dust settles. Hill still neutral, but that could be the piece. Icy manages to make it land. Finds the first, and the Bolt Talk is prepared to go as well. And in that sequence, Kenny, he'll knock Explosive. Praised. Left between a rock and a hard place. He'll be taken down. A trade, but nonetheless, a trade values the side of Reciprocity. And Icy is staying in that same role of wanting to be aggressive. Keep in mind, D, there's a fight over at it. Can anybody get here in time? And manages to have the denial. Solars, he'll be taken down. Player 1, player 2, that's Mental and Summons. They're still aggressing over at the neutral, over at E. But there is still a big 1v1, which will give Endgame just enough time to get off of spawn, cap their own home hill, but it got scary there, Ryan.
Yeah, Mental tries to fight him off at E as much as they can, but Reciprocity looking to very quickly gain back the neutral hill once again. Praise is going to make his way through there, and this is an endgame I'm not used to seeing. They look disjointed. You're going to see Mental kind of by himself. You're going to see Praise run in there by himself. Not the same coordinated team we're used to seeing. Rushies even hits him a little bit of an emote. As now Reciprocity crossed the 150 mark with 2 hills to their name. Going to see a big push coming through from endgame. Like I said, though, these are the situations now where Rec can really thrive, especially on a map like Bunker, long lines of sight.
Absolutely.
Even harder to run through those Lancers.
Sure. I mean, this has been their map, one that they feel comfortable on, and for good reason. Keep in mind, overextension. That's the call for Endgame, to stay alive. This is the sequence they're looking for, and Rushies, if he can escape with the drop shot, imagine the chaos that could ensue from long range. Does he need it? No, his teammates are doing the work for him. The drop shot, not even all that necessary, but it's going to put an exclamation point nonetheless, as there's 2. Praise, for good measure, he'll stay alive. D is still up in limbo, but can anybody get there? And it looks as if they will not, as Reciprocity, clear and true, will walk away with their 4th Emergence Day championship, as they are the most winningest team. And there are the boys right there. All signs positive, as Reciprocity locked this one up in a solid 2-0 fashion.